Shannon Sharpe, of course, as we know, Uncle Shay Shay, as he's affectionately called in the community, has left undisputed.
Free agent.
Free agency in the game. Dub and I were having a conversation. I think I've seen it a few places as well. Should he join the cast of First Take?
It's a good question. Stephen A has this podcast called Stephen A's World, and it's him speaking somewhat unfiltered, which I thoroughly enjoy watching and listening to. And he said that he wants Shannon Sharpe on the show.
Because I know that news has been percolating over the last few days that Shannon Sharpe is coming to First Take. I'm not going to tell you that's true. I'm not going to tell you it's not either. What I can tell you is that the honchos are talking to Shannon Sharpe. What I can tell you is that the honchos are fully aware that Stephen A. Smith wants Shannon Sharpe on First Take. I want Shannon Sharpe on First.
He wants Shannon Sharpe on the show, and I would have to agree. I want to see Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe on the show. To have two prominent sports media guys, in particular black guys, on the air with one of the biggest television networks in the entire world, I think it would be great for both guys. Now, I'm pretty sure people are like, well, Shannon Sharpe probably not going to be his true self. You know, he can't pull those antics that he pulled over at Undisputed, a.k.a. Fox, which I would have to say I disagree. Even though Disney is a family-centric network, there's still going to have to be some give and take when you're talking about someone of Shannon Sharpe's caliber. The viewings are going to speak for themselves, or the viewers are going to speak for themselves. So Uncle Shay Shay, he still should be able to bring the Black and Miles on air. He still should be able to drink his little Mountain Dew and stuff on air. He still should be able to bring his Hennessy on air. Like, these are the things that make him Shannon Sharpe on the air. So, to have Stephen A. Smith sign off, to probably have the salary to pay him what he deserves to be paid, I think Shannon Sharpe is in a really good position if he takes the job at ESPN. But also, too, as I wrap up my little thought here, he still has his own show on YouTube and his own podcast called Club Shay Shay. So if things go awry with ESPN, he still has that to fall back on. So I know we live in a generation where ownership is a thing. Ownership. But sometimes it's okay to go ahead and tap and play games, and, you know, within the realm of corporate, to go ahead and, you know, enhance your salary or get more experience. So when you pivot to the next opportunity, you had that experience. So I would love to see it, bro.
Yeah, I think you made some great points about the fact that Stephen A. is welcoming and open to this addition of Shannon Sharpe. I think as it's set today, as First Take looks today, it would be a bad move. Now, if it were going to be Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe only, I think that would be made for TV.
So you saying get rid of Molly?
I think Molly would make it difficult. I feel like she, you know, I feel like it's her job. Her job is kind of like Ernie's job when you think about NBA on TNT, you know, so just kind of like guiding the conversation, interjecting, making sure they're staying on topic, that sort of thing. I'm not saying that's not important, and I'm not saying she doesn't add value, but I can't see that working well with having Stephen A. when he goes on his rants and he gets, you know, what we love him for, when he gets to that point, and then you got Shannon when he gets passionate. I don't see that being a good mesh with, you know, Molly being there trying to mediate or just interjecting randomly into the debates. I think,
who do you think would be a good individual to take over that host position?
like I said, from my perspective, I only see a personality as big as Shannon Sharpe's working with Stephen A. Smith's if it's just those two. I don't think you need a host. I think, you know, I don't. I mean, you look at Undisputed and how that works out in terms of you have Skip and you have Stephen A. Smith, you have Skip and you have Shannon Sharpe. I don't think it works with. I mean, usually on First Take, there's like 5 people on there.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got
yeah. But Undisputed has a host. I think her name is like Carly or something, if I'm not mistaken. I can't
but
remember
but
her name.
is the host like actually on camera and
Yeah,
no, like sitting there with them
I
and like
know she ain't.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't watch too much Undisputed. I watched a lot of the clips via
Me
YouTube.
too. So maybe I just don't know, and
Yeah,
and
I
and
think they
maybe
have a
I'm
host.
and maybe, but again, the fact is we don't know either way. So that tells you how engaged they are in the debates. If we're sitting here trying to figure out whether or not, right? The
Facts,
focus,
facts.
and this speaks to my whole point. They probably going crazy in the comments at this point in the video, but this speaks to my whole point. We barely can tell you whether or not there's a host because the focus is on who it should be on, right? Who we came to see. First Take is too much of is ESPN in general. It's becoming very like it's too diplomatic in turn. We want to see them debate and argue. That's
Yeah,
what people watch it for. I
yeah.
don't need you to try to tone it down when they're going at each other or try to pull it back. And I feel like that's a lot of what Molly does. I don't want to watch that, you know. So and I also like I think that the roles of like Jay Williams and JJ Redick would be a little diminished because again, I feel like they're great supports to what Stephen A. Smith brings today. And I think the show as it is, how it's set up like that is good. But once you put Shannon Sharpe in the mix, those guys kind of will have to take a back seat. And with them both being Duke products, I'm a little biased. I want to see my guys be able to shine as they've been doing, over the past couple years. So I think it would be a good fit to have some form of Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith together in prime time, during the day talking sports. I would love to see it. As First Take is set up today, I think it's going to need some enhancements and some changes.
Fair points. I didn't think about the whole host component, but glad to have you here. Glad to have the dialogue. Listen, if you made it this far, give us that CLS treatment, that comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next installment.